Mr. Speaker, first of all, I apologize for my lateness this morning, but it was unavoidable. And Mr. Speaker, I had the opportunity, though, on my way here to Parliament to hear the Honourable Member for Barbuda. And this is why I think that I have to rise this morning to make a small contribution on this piece of legislation, the Immigration and Passport Amendment Bill, 2021. First of all, Mr. Speaker, I do not know why the Honourable Member for Barbuda is confusing this piece of legislation with CARICOM citizens and bashing our CARICOM citizens and being so myopic. Because this piece of legislation, from my reading when I read it yesterday, has very little to do with CARICOM citizens. As the Honourable Attorney General just very eloquently informed this Honourable House, that this legislation is a path to citizenship and has much more to do with persons who want to come to this country, invest in this country, have substantial real estate or businesses in this country, contribute to this country, and then eventually have a path to citizenship. Mr. Speaker, we cannot be myopic in our thinking when we govern a country. We have to look at the size of our economy, the size of our population, and our resources. Mr. Speaker, if our late father of the nation, Sir Vere Cornwall Bird, did not have the vision back in the early 1960s to allow Mill Reef to be carved out, I think it's a couple thousand of acres of land to be given to those American homeowners like Miss Mellon, to build their homes at Mill Reef, to invest in this country, to ultimately contribute to the economy. Scholarships that they've given, the homes, the construction, the jobs whilst Antiguans and Barbudans built those beautiful homes, the property taxes that the government over the last 50+ years have received from those homes at Mill Reef. Then the Labour Party government administration under Vere Cornwall Bird and Sir Lester Bird then allowed Jumbie Bay, Long Island, to be developed. Those beautiful 54, 55 homes, the hotel at Jumbie Bay, the property taxes that they pay, the type of salaries, the employment, the tourists that they bring in, Mr. Minister of Tourism, the high quality tourists that Jumbie Bay attracts, the marketing, what Robin Leach did. We could not pay for that show, The Rich and Famous, that Robin Leach did to market this country with Jumbie Bay. We cannot continue to be myopic in our thinking. And that is the problem with the United Progressive Party over the years. And that is why they're where they are, and that is why they only governed this country from 1971 to 1976. And then the people of the country made a fatal mistake, which they regret, from 2004 to 2014. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm not here to play politics. I'm here to address the bill. What I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, I heard you, the Honourable Member for Barbuda, on your feet whilst I was driving here to Parliament, bashing our CARICOM brothers and sisters. This bill has very little to do with them. In fact, there are certain sections in this bill which I'll point out which I think is disadvantageous to our CARICOM brothers and sisters. So I do not know why you must mislead this country and say that this government is coming here and the Attorney General, now maybe that is close to election or whatever, to pass this bill. This bill has to do with bringing in direct foreign investment into this country, which we need. It's what built this economy in the 1980s and the 1990s. That's why we just hailed Sir Lester Bird as the father of modern Antigua. We cannot live in a vacuum. But you want to live in a vacuum in Barbuda. You don't want no development for Barbuda. Mr. Speaker, you are causing discord and disunity and divide in this country by bashing our CARICOM brothers and sisters. I heard you this morning on your feet, and I have to get up on my feet and defend them. Because had not Sir Lester Bird had the vision back in the 1980s and the 1990s to open up this country and open our borders to our CARICOM brothers and sisters, Mr. Speaker, and allow them to come in and allow Antigua to become a melting pot of various cultures. You don't have a problem with the Chinese, you don't have a problem with the Arabs, you don't have a problem with those, but you have a problem with our CARICOM brothers and sisters. Please. And Mr. Speaker, the reality is that these CARICOM brothers and sisters, the Jamaicans, the Guyanese, the Dominican Republicans, and many of our forefathers, Antiguan and Barbudans, went to Santo Domingo to cut sugarcane. And a lot of them are Antiguan and Barbudan citizens by birth and by descent, sorry. And they have the right to apply for Antiguan and Barbudan citizenship. And we open it up. Montserrat was always part of Antigua. So, if Celeste Bird did not have the vision to open up our country to our CARICOM brothers and sisters, and they've contributed to the nation building and the building of our economy, that Antigua and Barbuda became the largest economy in the OECS. We became the leader, the highest per capita, the highest growth in the economy, the highest GDP in the OECS. Back in the 1980s and 1990s, how do you think we achieved that? Our population, our local indigenous population could not do it alone. Our CARICOM brothers and sisters, Mr. Speaker, paid statutory deductions, education levy, medical benefits, social security. They pay APUA bills. They rent homes. They buy groceries at the supermarket and fuel at the gas tanks. And ultimately, they build their own homes. And they contribute to the building of our society. So don't come and cause discord and disunity. It is wrong. Putting indigenous-born Antiguans and Barbudans against our non-national CARICOM brothers and sisters. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I have a problem with section, and if you permit me, on the page 6, Section 8B. I can understand what the Attorney General and the government is trying to do. They're trying to have a minimum. Section 8B, subsection Roman numeral 2, has an annual income of not less than US $500,000 or such other sum as may be prescribed. And I can understand what the government is trying to do. They're trying to set a minimum fee so that, a non-national, a foreign investor who comes to Antigua must have a minimum income of 1,350,000 EC to attract, substantial high net worth people. I can understand what the government is trying to do here, but at the same time, Mr. AG, I think, and you will be able, I'm sure, in committee stage, because under a Labour Party government, this, in my view, but I stand corrected, will totally disenfranchise our CARICOM brothers and sisters. Because how could a Guyanese or Jamaican or Dominican Republic or Dominican be qualified if they're here for the prescribed period and they want to have a permanent resident permit and they will not have an income of 500,000 US? Yes, but the law says here, but the AG can tell us in committee stage, well, it says, has an annual income of not less than US 500,000 or such other sum as may be prescribed. Okay, well, I think it covers it because it says, Mr. Minister, Member for St. Paul, it says, or such other sum as may be prescribed. So I guess the minister then, that's a caveat, the minister can lower it. So you can say 5,000, 10,000, whatever the income is. So I did not, yes. Why not? But what's wrong with that? But we have to have some discretion to protect our CARICOM brothers and sisters. You can't have them on the same, you cannot have them on the same threshold, Mr. Member for Barbuda. What do you mean fix the bill? So why can't the minister have the discretion to prescribe by regulation? Is by regulation going to do it? What do you think? He's going to do it willy-nilly and say, oh, this Dominican is $5,000 income, this one is 50,000. It has to be done by regulation. And it'll be public notice in the Gazette. What is wrong with that? Come on, don't think that the bill is political. This bill here is to attract direct foreign investment. I see absolutely nothing wrong with the bill, Mr. Speaker. I don't see that the bill has much to do with CARICOM citizens, so I don't see why the Honourable Member for Barbuda is attacking our CARICOM non-nationals. We cannot be myopic. The great United States of America, Mr. Speaker, was built by allowing so many different cross-sections of immigrants to be allowed and enter into the United States of America. After the Great Depression, even before that, to become residents and ultimately to apply for citizenship. That's why they have a green card. And ultimately after that, you can become a citizen. Come on. The United States became a melting pot. And that's what Antigua became in the 1980s and 1990s. Little Antigua. Mr. Speaker, I support the bill wholeheartedly. I think it's a good bill. It will attract direct foreign investment into the country. There is a few little things in committee stage that I think can be tweaked, where you're giving the chief immigration officer some wild powers in section, no, but we can tweak those like in section 11, Mr. Speaker, where it says, Section 11, subsection 1, the chief immigration officer may revoke a residence permit granted to a person who is the spouse of a citizen. And it has here in Roman numeral 2, in the opinion of the chief immigration officer, the marriage is broken down. I do not know that the chief immigration officer, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Attorney General, is competent or is the competent person to decide. And you as a lawyer, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you'll agree with me. I don't think the chief immigration officer is the competent person to decide whether a marriage is broken down or not. I think it would have to be some type of marriage court or judge or whatever to decide that. Other than that, Mr. Speaker, I have no difficulty with the tribunal and the appeals. There was another part here that I did not understand, but I will ask the Attorney General when we go to committee stage. But all in all, Mr. Speaker, I support the bill. I think it's a very good bill. It will continue to attract investment into the country, which we so badly need. In these hard economic times during COVID, we have to be creative, Honourable Member for Barbuda, to do whatever is necessary. We are not giving away the country. We are not giving away our birthright. The great United States of America has the EB-5. Canada has a visa and permanent residence system. They have permanent residence, and then after permanent residence, you can apply for citizenship. So many different European countries have it. What is wrong with it? You in the UPP supported the citizenship investment program. So why now you're on the other side, you're not lending your support for something that makes sense, economic sense, to help, to continue to stimulate the economy, to create wealth in the country, to benefit our citizens and our residents. But please do not create discord, disunity, and preach those type of divisiveness in our society. It is not helpful. It is unhealthy, Mr. Speaker. I take my seat. It is wrong. Thank you.